So our group was on the administration of an REU, and so there was a couple of us who have brand new ones, who we have no clue how to run these. We're learning all these great ideas from you on, mentorships and student, but okay, so what waiver do I need? And so what we talked about in our particular group, we had big schools and we had small institutions and kind of how they handle it. One of our big questions was about the stipends. How do all your different institutions handle this? Do you guys have them come in as a student? I know we can't pay tuition, but is how different institutions are handling how that payment is done, especially when you're the first REU at a university. There's a lot of legal issues with it. Are they coming in as a student, as an employee? Are you paying them as a fellowship? And so we talked about the positives and negatives of each one of those and the different ways that this is handled. We talked about medical insurance. Do you provide the medical insurance? Is it covered because they're students? Is it covered because of their parents? Is it completely out of their realm? For us who are doing international, there are certain other insurances that we need. So we talked about how do you logistically do that. We talked about another issue, which is housing. Some of you all put them in private housing. Some of them are the residence halls. Some of them, like myself, I'm probably going to be doing a hotel at parts of it. All the different logistics, and then when a price hits a certain price point, then all of a sudden you have to go into negotiations. And so we talked about the positives and negatives and kind of some of the issues associated with that. We talked about food allowances versus paying for their food at every meal. How do you handle that? Transportation costs. I knew I had to pay for the students to come and leave, but do I cover it? Do I do reimbursement? So we got a lot of ideas on that. Transportation during the REU. So can you get a van from your university? Who can drive? Those type of logistics. Risk, we talked a lot about risk, waiver forms, the different waiver forms that are maybe, if we could get copies of waiver forms from a lot of your institutions. And so our session really just said, basically, it depends on your institution. Go back to your institution and find out. But it helped us with the brand new REUs kind of get an idea of if we hit a roadblock, maybe going this direction, maybe you all have an idea of, have you tried going this way instead? And maybe if you present it to your lawyers this way, they can handle it a little bit differently. And so I think one of the things that we could do is, if anywhere on the Google Docs, if anybody has any suggestions on these waiver forms or any of this, we would really appreciate it, especially all of us newbies.